Hello, right, you find me here in Goldstein Port in Lembava. I'm quite a regular visitor here. Now it's been a little while since I've done a decent length Elite Dangerous video, so that is the plan for this one. Whether or not things go according to plan remains to be seen, but at the moment at least things seem to be working, or at least working better than they have been. Trade is working again, combat is working again, I think mining is working again, and even exploration is getting back on track. Hard to believe, I know, but it does seem to be the case. So I thought I'd get a few hours under my belt. Now you also join me at a rather sad event, because I'm afraid it's time to say goodbye to the faithful Diamondback Explorer. Before I do though, I'm going to check to see what they have here. Now the old Diamondback has certainly served me well. It's been a great exploration ship. It's a great choice of exploration vessel. But I'm afraid her days are numbered. The reason being that I am going to be replacing it. Let's check out actually, I can't really see what they have here, so fuck it, let's just sell everything. Now my exploration ship is going to become a dual purpose vessel. As well as exploration, it's also going to be necessary for it to double as a smuggling vessel. And because of that, the old Diamondback just doesn't cut it. It's not the one. So what will be taking its place? Well, a vessel that that can be a good exploration ship, can withstand the attacks from interdictions, or at least better than this thing can. Has decent firepower, has decent equipment slots. That does pretty much leave me with not a great deal of choice. It is of course going to be the Asp. Now, it's not like I should have any difficulty affording the Asp. I think that is everything. Yeah. So here we go, and part exchange it on the old ship, so this is only going to cost me 4.2 million. I have 57.2 million, so no problems there. As far as all the internals go, it's going to be equipped for exploration. So that means derated everything, or at least derated everything that I can get from here. So, power plant. I don't want an A4, that's for sure. I want a 5. D5, there we go. Thrusters, I definitely want D5s for them, and this place doesn't have any. Right, so looks like I am going to have to make a trip to Diaguandri to finish outfitting this. Now obviously the frame shift drive needs to be the best. B5 is certainly not the best, but that's all I can get. Life support and sensors are likely to be shit as well, so I'm not going to be able to do those. There's a D4 power distributor. I don't really like having D4s, but needs must. I need the jump range. Sensors, they're no good. Right, so the shield generator as a class 5 is fine, but not a E5. I want the D5. Did I have a 5? No, I had a 4. God, oh yeah. This place has absolutely fuck all. I must admit, Lembava has been getting worse and worse. It looks like Diaguandri is the place to go. Obviously, the basic discovery scanner is no good. I'll get back my advanced discovery scanner. Of course, I'd already paid Diaguandri prices for those scanners, so I'm okay there. Now I will want the fuel scoop there. An E6 fuel scoop would be very nice, or an A6 rather, which almost certainly means this place won't have one. Told you they wouldn't. Fucking hell, 23 million. Right, I'll go with the B6 instead. Right, so the shield generator, well, SA E5 is awful, but it's going to have to do at the moment. That means that these cargo slots, because I can get better prices on cargo slots if I went to Alliance Space, but I mean they're only 8,752 here, so even though I will get a saving, it's not going to be a tremendous saving. It's not worth flying all that way for. That's a fuel tank, don't want that. Where the fucking hell's the cargo slots gone? There it is. So 24 tons, doesn't sound like a lot, but that's actually enough. So I still have the shield generator to do, sensors, life support, thrusters, frame try, so I've still got a hell of a lot of the internals to do. Right, now for the weaponry, I can never make up my mind which way to go with the weapons. I think what I'll do is get what I had before, so I'll have that beam laser there, beam laser there, and then we'll have a load of class 1 cannons. Do I want to use cannon turrets? No, it's not really worth it. So at the moment my jump range is not fantastic, but it will be a lot better once I've finished sorting out the internals for this thing. Alright, so there we go. So that's 4 cannons, 2 beam lasers. Right, now as far as the utility mounts go, I think I will stick with pretty much what I had already. So point defense there. No, I don't want the chaff launcher there. I want it there. Yeah, I'll kill warrant scanner there. And finally, I may as well stick an AE rated shield booster there. I might be struggling with power a bit once I put all the D rated stuff and the A rated frameshift drive there, so don't know how long that shield booster will stay there for. But that's the loadout at the moment. Let's just get the fire group sorted. Might as well do it like that. I don't need to worry about the power priorities at the moment because I'm not using the full power, besides which I've also got some more things to do. Let's finish the look of the ASP. I got my lovely green Apollo paint job, which, yes, I know looks fucking hideous, but oh well. Right, Explorer. No, I have my trade one here. Tycoon, and then Explorer Ranger there. Right, so got the exterior done. Interior though still needs some work. So let's head to Diaguandri. And once I have finished here, I can then let you know what my actual plans are. I think, yeah, I've already scanned that place. So I shall pause this here, and I will be back when we are in Diaguandri. Okay, here we are then in Ray Gateway in the Diaguandri system, and I have finished outfitting the ship. So the hard points are all exactly the same as they were in Lembava. Here are the internals. The power plant I've had to move up to a C because my power usage when deployed is 16.33, and that was just far too much over what the D gave me. So I've gone with a C. It's slightly more mass than the D was, but not a hell of a lot, so it's not affecting me too much, and of course it means the ship's running cooler as well, which is always handy. D5 thrusters, A5 frameshift drive, D4 life support, D4 power distributor, D5 sensors, B6 fuel scoop. I have an A6 on the Anaconda battleship, but it's around the 23 million credit mark. It's a luxury that, well, at the moment I can't afford, and even if I could, it's not essential. I think this ship will do perfectly fine with a B6. D5 shield generator. I'll see how the shields cope with an interdiction before deciding whether or not to keep that or upgrade it to a D, or either an A5 or a D6. Then the 3 cargo racks giving me 24 tons maximum, and then the 2 scanners at the bottom. and the livery, obviously I haven't changed that either. So that's the finished loadout. Now something else that I saw when coming here, which has reminded me, I didn't mention it at the start of this video. There are conflict zones here. Indeed, there are currently conflict zones in every single inhabited system. Now, as far as I am aware, there are two possibilities for this. The first one is that there's been some fuck up and the servers are putting conflict zones everywhere, and Frontier Development's reputation means that, as far as I'm concerned, that is the most likely one. The other one is that they have been put there intentionally, they're there by design. Why? To give the new Xbox One players something to do. I have a feeling that Xbox One players aren't going to be overly enamoured with Elite Dangerous. I think the vast majority of Xbox One owners and players are too young to remember Elite. In fact, could be too young to remember Frontier, or even First Encounters for that matter. So they are not going to be, I think, willing to do the grind that you are supposed to need to do in order to progress. And in order to progress to a certain level, you're going to have to do the grind whether you want to or not, and no matter what is there to help you. And without wanting to sound like I'm shouting my mouth off, to get to a stage where you have 2 upgraded Anacondas and an upgraded ASP, plus nearly 40 million in your balance, you are going to have to do some grinding at some point. Let alone some of those players like Commander Ripperjack, or certainly Commander Alpha November, who has triple elite, and he has over 1 billion in his balance. You are definitely going to have to grind if you hope to get anything like those kind of stats. So I think the fact that the servers are fucked up is the more likely option, because if it has been done by design, okay, it may grab the attention of the console players, but once they've gone, it could backfire, because they will then get bored thinking that it's going to be an action fest all the time. So what they should have really done was left it well alone, and then introduce the conflict zones a bit later, so that the new players can get to grips with the controls, get a bit of an introduction, and then plunge into the action. Because I'm wondering how many Xbox One players are going to take their stock fitted sidewinders into those conflict zones and get pissed off that they get wiped out within the blink of an eye. Anyway, I mentioned stats, so let's have a look through them then. Now you'll see that trade rank has gone up. Now Tycoon 10%. I'm rather pleased to finally be in double figures as far as my progress through Tycoon goes. And Explorer rank Ranger is now up to 33%. The other 2 ranks obviously haven't changed. Combat rank can't change, and CQC won't change. Well, it will, but I'm in absolutely zero hurry for it to do so. Reputations and ranks with the factions are also unchanged, so I'm still a friendly post commander and allied prince, and friendly with the alliance. Permits haven't changed. I did do a little bit more towards trying to get the permit for Terra Mata by handing in exploration data at Hecate, but I didn't hand in enough, so it hasn't been forthcoming yet, but I'll plug away with that one eventually. Now, statistics. There have been some changes around here. So, the balance current assets are at 806.8 million, so I finally broke the 800 million mark there. Credit spent on chips is at 694.1 million, so I'm edging ever closer to the 700 million mark there. Credits on outfitting is at just over 4 billion. Credits on repairs at just over 28 million, credits spent on fuel at 1.9 million, and credits on munitions at 1.6 million. Insurance claims are still just 2, and that of course means total claims cost is still 9.7 million. Combat bounties claimed is at 5,959. It's gone up a little bit, but not a huge amount. Give me total profit from bounties of 159.1 million. Combat bonds are at 5,677, giving me a profit of 119.8 million. Assassinations, it's showing 257, it should actually be more than that. Profits from assassinations at 34.1 million, again it should be more than that. And highest single reward is showing as 906,865, and again that should be more than that. That should be around 2.2 million. Now, one stat that has changed is crime. I'm currently now on 90 fines issued, and you'll remember that for, well, I don't know how long it's been, my fines total was just in 5 figures, so it wasn't even up to 100,000. That changed big time last night. I was in Facete doing some trading runs, and I decided to look through each of the stations to see if any of them paid more than the station I was always docking at for my cargo. My cargo was Imperial slaves, and I was in my Anaconda cargo ship, so I had 388 tons of them. And my attention was a bit diverted. I wasn't really paying a lot of attention at all for a lot of last night, and so I didn't notice that this one particular station in Facete considered Imperial slaves to be illicit cargo. And even when I got the warning scan detected, it still didn't register. I still wasn't paying attention. And the only time I got I suddenly realised what was happening was when I had the flashing warn up that I had incurred a fine of 3.1 million. So my lifetime fines value has skyrocketed from about 80,000 to 3,225,190. So yeah, that didn't do me too many favours. Thankfully the route I was doing was so lucrative that I was able to make that back and more in about 2 runs. So it could have been worse. Actually it was 3 runs, I think. Well, 3 runs I easily made back more, and I'll show you why in a sec. So bounties claimed is just still just the one. Lifetime bounties value is still at 200,000. Now smuggling hasn't changed because I haven't done any yet. That may be changing when I get to my final destination. Trading market network is at 211. Trading profit is now at 435.2 million. Commodities traded has passed the 450,000 mark, so we're now at 452,303. And the average profit has shot up to 182,644. For an average profit, I think that's fucking good. I know there are quite a few players out there who have a lot higher than that, but there are vastly more players whose average is quite a bit lower than that, so I'm quite pleased with that. And the highest single transaction has changed. It is now 1,271,864 for one transaction. I can't complain about that at all. The 1,057,000 one was broken briefly by one I did that paid me 1,180,000. That then stayed as the new high single transaction for all of 5 minutes when it went up again to 1,271,864. And the best thing about it is that as far as I can tell, that route is quite stable, so I can make that every time when I'm in the Anaconda cargo ship. So if I need to make credits pretty quickly and without risk, that is one option. However, there is another option which I'll come to in a moment. So mining, I haven't done any more since last time I showed you, so profit from mining is still at 1.3 million from 204 minerals refined. Exploration has gone up a bit. Systems visited is now at 2,811. Profits from exploration is at 30.3 million. 608 level 2 detail scans, 5,396 level 3 detail scans. Highest payout hasn't changed, that's still 268,646. Total hyperspace distance is now up to 91,007. I have now done 6,522 total hyperspace jumps, and obviously my max distance from my starting point hasn't changed, it's still 2,797. I think that's quite low actually, the max distance from start. For someone who is 33% past Ranger, surely you would be looking at something approaching 5 figures, and I'm barely over a quarter of that. So I'm thinking if I want to actually get somewhere with improving my Explorer rank, I've got to be looking at going further afield than that. So something I need to do soon. Now obviously CQC statistics are blank, so they're not going to stay blank, but for the moment I have no intention of doing anything about it. So my balance of 39.5 million and rebuy costs for this new and newly outfitted ASP is 713,166, so I've certainly got those covered. In fact, I have the rebuy costs for all of my ships covered, which is nice. Now, for the reason why I've replaced my Diamondback Explorer with the ASP. First thing is that fully laden, this ASP is still doing over 29 light years, so it's not as much of a hindrance as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot lower than that. So, I don't know, maybe it's something I should have done a little while ago. But I am heading to... I thought I was heading to Slothis. I think it's just Sothis. Yes it is. Okay, that's where I went wrong. Which is here. As you can see, it needs exploring. And if you've been covering or following the latest updates with in-game features and blah fucking blah, you will know precisely why I am coming here. And it will also then explain to you why I've upgraded my Diamondback for an ASP, so I still have the range and the exploration outfitting, whilst also being able to carry cargo. So I think we can safely say that is quite self-explanatory. So I've got a bit of a I've got a bit of a journey ahead of me. Let's have a check on the old bulletin boards here, see if there's anything of any use to me. Of course I can now dock anywhere. Being able to dock on a an outpost is far from a priority. Even when you've progressed as far as I have, it's still far from a priority. It's nice to be able to do, but I think, you know, making that a top priority for your choice of ship is a ridiculous idea. Nothing here that really grabs me. And I don't think any of them are going to wherever I am going. So I have 14 jumps to get to Sothis. First system is Bugwa. Right, well I'll pause this here because, you know, exploration is probably the least interesting thing to watch. Unless it's, you know, exploring a particularly well-known star or system or nebula or whatever, of which Bugwa is none of these things. So yeah, I'll be back then once we approach Sothis, or if I happen to stumble across anything interesting on the way, which is unlikely. Right, back in a sec. Right, well here we are at where are we? Sector I can't fucking remember the name of this place. Well, it's Col 285 Sector CB-W C2-5 around the fucking SATA-III, and every system I have been to between, well, since Bugwa, which was the first jump, to here has been either Brown Dwarf or a SATA-III. I haven't been able to fuel scoop off any of them. Now, according to the galaxy map, this next system should be okay. It fucking needs to be, because my fuel is getting very low. I mean, I've only got 6 jumps from here to Sothis, so yeah. I've already covered a fair old distance, but I haven't well, I haven't really left myself with much fuel to do too much else after this place, so I do need to fuel scoop from it. I thought for a while that there we go, that taking a class 6 fuel scoop may have been a bit much. Right at this precise moment, I am very glad that I brought one with me. Now the second star is 430,000 light seconds away, so there's no fucking way I'm going to explore that, but I will get closer so I can fuel scoop. Right, well I suspect I'm going to be here a while scooping this little lot. Even with a B6, it's well, actually it's going up at quite a rate, but anyway, I will be back once I reach Slothis. That's just unreal. This is nowhere near the maximum amount that I can scoop with this thing, and yet look how quickly it's shot up. So I've now filled the fuel tank. With the A6 I can scoop fuel 878 kilograms per second. If I had an A7 I can go up to over a ton a second. That's not bad. Anyway, right, back then when we arrive at our destination. Right, so here we are in the Sothis system. And I am breaking the habit that, well, not of a lifetime, but the habit that I got into quite some time ago. As you can see, I am heading towards a star that is 113,000 light seconds away. Now normally I wouldn't bother, but if you bring up the system map, which seems to take an age to load every time for some reason. This is Sothis A. I've scanned all of these planets, including that moon, which turned out to be worthless. But look at these planets here, these planets here, these ones here. They're all going to be high metal content. Or more. That one looks potentially like it could be more. That one certainly does. That looks like it could be a water world. That one could possibly be a bit more. So this place I think could be the most valuable system I've scanned, because bearing in mind that what was my highest before now? 268,646. I think this place could be worth far more than that. So I am going to scan everything. Well, everything bar those fucking asteroid belts. So it could take a while. And obviously I can't sell this data in this system. This is where I will be docking. But we can at least see how much it's worth and then sell it when we are 20 light years away, which in this ship I can do in one jump. And you may think that because I'm on the outskirts that's a bit of a tall order, but if we set the view to show the allegiance, there is this planet here, or this system here, Sausis, which is nowhere near in range. So I'm sure, okay, so there's this one here, Robigo. Yeah, so that's certainly in range, or you know, certainly out of range of here. So that could be somewhere I go to sell this data. So anyway, that's what I'll be doing. Which means once again, back when there is something to come back to. Right, so this is what happens now when I try to scan the rest of this system. And this happens with every single thing. So when they said that there's now no longer any problem with the exploration, fucking bullshit. So now, well, it's just a case of I've travelled, you know, this far to scan the rest of this system for nothing. It just keeps coming up, data corrupted, try again. As soon as that appears, it then says detailed scan complete, which of course it isn't, because the scan starts again, the analysing, but nothing goes through. So that part of the system that I did scan is okay, because of course I did that before it all fucked up again. But now we are back to good old Frontier Developments quality. Now over the last couple of days I've had people who, you know, criticise me for, well actually they go beyond criticise me, they just go straight out and insult me because I point out things like this. Frontier Developments want your money. They want you to pay for this level of quality. Not only that, they want awards for it. And they are trying to get their customers who are experiencing this level of quality to vote for them to win awards. Now, when a company produces quality this inept and claim that they are, all worthy of winning awards, then they deserve to be held to account. And I will continue to hold them to account until this game is free, and until Frontier Developments themselves finally say, you're right, this does not in any way deserve any kind of awards recognition. I will continue to hold them to account, and I will not stop. I don't care who is getting pissed off by it, because they deserve to be held to account. This is what they consider good enough to be paid for. They consider this to be worth parting with your money for, and they consider this to be worthy of winning awards. Both of those things are fucking bollocks. Both of those things are insulting, and yet the fanboys think that people like me, who point out these criticisms, who hold Frontier Developments to account, they think we are the ones who are being out of order. If that is the case, then I am going to continue to be out of order, because as long as Frontier Developments try to pass this off as award-winning, money-worthy products, then they are taking the piss, and they are the ones who are doing it, not me. So this long video that I was doing in various segments has obviously had to come to a juddering halt. What I will no doubt do is release this particular segment on its own, but it's finally worked, but I will certainly be including it in the main one as well as for a separate release, because you've seen how many times I had to scan that before it finally actually worked. And that's worthy of your money, and that's worthy of awards. At least Frontier Developments think so. I do not. Just a quick addendum. After the Sothis D star was scanned, it's business as usual. It's now gone back to doing exactly the same thing. So don't sit there thinking, he's been shown that he's wrong, because it is working again. Because for one thing, it took a fucking age for it to work, but it would appear that it was very temporary indeed, because all I had to do was select the very next planet, and here we go again. I know for a fact that Frontier Developments will not reply to this video, so I will submit it as a bug report and see if any of them will actually, for once, dare to explain why we are having to put up with this ridiculously outrageous so-called service, and actually apologise for it, rather than sit there and say, please vote for us to win an award that we don't deserve. So there you go, that's this for the moment. if it starts working again, I'll be back with the next part. Right, well, it's been 2 days since they did the last, well, since I did everything you've seen up until now. Now, the reason we are looking at the exploration stats is the profits from exploration, which is currently at 30,560,000. Now, I have a funny feeling that the last lot of data I sold did not get included on the profits from exploration. I don't think it went up at all, even though I sold something in the region of 230,000's worth. So we're going to try again, but this time record it and see. So I should have at least 2 systems. I think it is only 2. Sothis and Kios, yep, there they are. So that's 276,000 just from those 2 systems. So we'll sell those. Robigo's system is where I am at the moment, that's why I can't sell that. And okay, so it has gone up. Well, that's something, at least that is working. But I have to say that my enthusiasm is pretty much at rock bottom. I'm not the only one, even some other players who played the game a hell of a lot, such as the man I frequently mention, one Commander Epperjack, even he is showing a significant lack of enthusiasm for the game. And it's not difficult to see why, because it's just one fuck up after another. And if Frontier Developments had any sense, which they've proven time and time again they don't, along with the brown nosers who have proven time and time again they have even less sense than Frontier Developments. If things carry on this way, the number of players are going to plummet, and they want to attract Xbox players. They want people with Xbox Ones to be playing this. Now, if Frontier Developments and the brown nosers think that the criticisms from people like me in the PC crowd are bad, this is nothing. The Xbox crowd, as indeed all of the console crowd, are significantly less forgiving than the PC crowd.
4, 3, 2, 1,
engage. They rightly expect the game to be working. What they don't expect is what I've seen reported by a number of Xbox players who have bought this game and have written on the Facebook site that even CQC, they cannot get a single game to start. If they've been playing the proper game, they have been unable to connect to the server at all. And that kind of experience means that they will rightly pass it on to other potential customers, and they won't buy it. I mean, you don't have to be an economics genius to figure it out. If you sell something that is so broken, that is so fucked up, no one will buy it. Not only that, they will recommend to everybody that they don't buy it. So fixing it in the future may well be possible, but it'll also be far too fucking late. Your sales are already being affected.
Fuel scooping complete.
So you need to get to grips with this alien concept of actually fixing the game and actually having it, you know, containing
Fuel
everything
scoop
it's supposed
disengaged.
to before you release it. Now in that regard, for once, Elite Dangerous isn't alone. This is now pretty much the norm in modern PC gaming. You know, it's like expecting a game to work and expecting it to have been checked for bugs and have those bugs fixed prior to release is now clearly asking far too much. And it's got to the stage now where a lot of people are saying, oh, you have to expect bugs in any game. No, you don't. In no other industry do you expect the thing that you have just bought to either not work properly or to be broken. If it is, you rightly complain about it, and there's a very good chance that you would be refunded. Let's take the car industry, as a certain somebody who posted on my comment section earlier did themselves. They used the car industry as a example. If you buy a brand new car, you do not expect it to have faults, whereas you are supposedly we are being told to expect bugs with software. You don't expect a new car to have faults. If it does, you quite rightly take it back, and you either exchange it if you're willing to give them a chance, or you demand a refund, and statutory rights means you are fully entitled to it. And if this attitude of, oh, you should expect issues with everything is true, then why is there suddenly this enormous backlash towards Volkswagen with regards to them saying their car does something when in fact it doesn't do it at all, i.e. the emissions tests? Such a backlash that the CEO of the major company itself resigned because he got caught. And before I carry on, actually I have to say this is something that for once I think looks quite good. As you can see, the Newham station in Sothis is still under construction, and you can see all the flashing there from the welders doing their bit to actually construct the system, or construct the station rather. So it don't look too bad. Anyway, getting back to the point. The other example that this person gave, I can't remember his name. He didn't do himself any favours by trying to argue the point while also insulting me. You don't do very well in any argument if you're going to go about insulting me in the process. But you're saying that yes, everything will, have faults, and you're expecting those. You should expect faults, and he even said that you should expect faults with nuclear reactors. I'll just let that sink in for a bit. We are supposed to expect faults with nuclear reactors. So when your government says, go ahead, build this new nuclear reactor, they are expecting another Chernobyl.
Engines disengaged.
At least if you apply this person's logic to it, they are. Now, what the government in their right mind would say, yes, go ahead and build a new nuclear reactor if they are expecting it to melt down. The answer is, of course, they wouldn't. Nobody would. In fact, if they were expected to melt down, there would be a global ban on nuclear power stations, and it would be put in place in half an hour's time. So no, you should not expect errors and bugs and what have you in anything, and that includes software. And it's because of this attitude of, oh, you should expect it, blah blah blah, that has resulted in games like Elite Dangerous, like Assassin's Creed, whichever fucking one it was, the fourth one, like Batman Arkham Knight, and most recently one that affects me, Might and Magic Hero 7, which are bugged to high heaven, bordering on unplayable as a result of them, and yet are deemed suitable for release. And until that attitude changes, it's always going to happen. And that's where people like me come in. I am not going to give them the benefit of doubt. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we should expect bugs, because as far as I'm concerned, we should not expect them. We are not asking too much by expecting whatever it is we have bought to work and do what we have been told it will do. And if you think that we are asking too much by, you know, wanting that, then you deserve to spend your entire life being walked all over, because that is precisely what will happen to you. If you expect and therefore make excuses for everything that you buy and everything that you do not working properly and not doing what it's supposed to do, then people will end up laughing at you. They will take full advantage of it, and you end up with, well, certainly as far as software goes, the kind of bullshit state that we are in. Anyway, we are back then at Newham in Sothis. So I can now sell the oh no, I'm not going there. I can now sell the data from that last place, Robbie Go or whatever it was called. So that brings me now up to as far as exploration goes, 2,827 systems visited, 30.8 million in profits, 5,486 level 3 detailed scans. Highest payout hasn't changed. I thought this system would beat 268,000. In fact, it didn't. 211,000, which is still a bloody good payout, but it's just not my best. So I'm pretty sure everybody knows the reason why I've come out here. It's right on the fringes of populated space, so you don't need me to show you. You know. So yeah, this video isn't going to be as long as I thought it would be. I thought it would be a bit more in depth, but as I say, all these constant bugs and everything means that I'm doing this with no enthusiasm whatsoever. So I'm going to bring this video to an end. So there you go, that's this one done. This is Commander Koza saying go away. Right, well, clearly that last clip didn't finish with me or you going away. This is a final edition. As you can see, I am back in Ray Gateway in Dear Guandry, and I've done 3 missions from Sothis that I went there for, and I'm in 2 minds about them. Now obviously, you know, I did pretty well. I mean, you can see my balance is now up to 55.6. In fact, prior to a couple of changes I've just made to this ASP, it was at 65.4, so I've spent another 10 million on sorting the ASP out, but it means that I made 25 million in 3 missions, which is not bad. Now, before we go on, I'll point out the changes I've made, and they were absolutely essential. I fucked up in a couple of ways. I'm not one to shy away from when I fuck up, and I did it big time. The first thing was that in my class 2 high points, where I now have gimbal cannons, I did have beam lasers. Now, beam lasers on an ASP are not a bad choice of weapon, although they are when you've only got a D-rated power distributor, which is what I had. So I was able to fire my beam lasers for about 3 to 4 seconds before I had completely exhausted the power gate of the weapons. So that was a fuck up. So I've played it a bit safe, and as well as getting rid of the beam lasers for these cannons, and I put pulse lasers where the class 1 cannons were, I've also got rid of my shield booster. You'll see why. But as well as doing that, I have also got the A4 power distributor. The reason I decided to go with the A4 is that the D4 has mass of 4 tons, so obviously has lower mass. The A4 has 10, so we're only looking at a 6 ton difference. So I thought, fuck it. And plus, it really does help with being able to fight against interdictions, and if you're doing these missions, believe me, you will be interdicted. The other problem was my shield. The generator was a D5. As you can see, it's now been replaced in the class 5 slot by a B5 fuel scoop, and I've gone all out and I've put an A6 shield generator in. The reason for that is that the D5 shield generator, what it basically does is buy you enough seconds to get ready to run away. But if you plan on fighting back against anything more powerful than, say, an Imperial Eagle, you're gonna find your shields disappearing fucking quickly, which is indeed what happened to me. So I thought, right, fuck it, I'll go all out and slap an A6 shield generator on there. Now this has of course impacted on my jump range. Fully laden I'm down to 26.87, but for a ship with this loadout, 26.87 is not bad at all. And if I'm doing exploration runs and therefore will be unladen, 28.35 again is not bad at all. It's 2 light years less than I was getting in the Diamondback. I don't know how many light years less than it was in my old loadout, but for doing these missions, it's, I think, worth sacrificing a bit of jump range. That was why my fuck up was going all out for jump range above everything else. Like I say, you are definitely going to be interdicted. The first couple were no problem. The first ship was an Eagle, got rid of that fucker. Second ship was an Imperial Eagle, got rid of that fucker. So the third ship came along. I can't for the life of me remember what system. I mean, I was having to jump about 300 and something light years. In fact, it may have even been 400 and something. So I was having to go through quite a lot of systems. And the third ship came along, and that third ship was an Imperial Clipper. Now, normally, going up against an Imperial Clipper, I'd be thinking, oh, no problem. But of course, I'm in an ASP with D5 shields and 2 beam lasers with a D-rated distributor. So I started firing back at him, and my beam lasers were exhausted after just taking down the first ring of his shields. In the meantime, he had completely stripped me of my shields, so I thought, right, it's time to get the fuck out of here. And of course he was disrupting my frame shift drive by a factor of 13. So when I did get out of there, my hull was down to 36%. So I made it out of there okay, but yeah, only just. So that was what convinced me, right, I've got to sort the defences out on this ship, because if I'm going to do any more of those missions, I need stronger defence. As I say, I'm still in two minds as to whether or not I want to do any more. And the reason for that is not because of those interdictions, it's for a completely different kind of interdiction. If you are in a system where the system authorities are flying around, no exaggeration at all, I was being interdicted every 12 seconds. I was sitting here counting them. In fact, that's the average. Sometimes it was up as much as 15 seconds before the next interdiction. Sometimes it was as little as 6 seconds before the next interdiction came along. So I would be interdicted, submit to it, piss off, go back into frame shift drive, go back into Super Cruise, 6 seconds later, interdicted again. Now at the moment there's a bit of a fuck up, here's a shock, with the interdiction thing, and you can't evade them. If you keep your ship dead centre in the escape vector, it won't do anything. The blue bar will go right up to the top and then it just stays there. You can't get away from it. So at the moment you are having to, well, either submit to every interdiction or be beaten in the interdiction, so to speak, in which case you will take damage to the hull and all of your modules. The first system this happened in was an anarchy system. So it was completely lawless, which meant that even though all of the cargo I was carrying was illicit in the systems I was going to, in the system that I was in, it was no problem. So I was being interdicted constantly, I say on average every 12 seconds, and then they would say, oh, there's nothing wrong here, off you go. This is supposedly in a time when, you know, faster than light travel is the accepted norm, and yet they don't possess the intelligence or the technology to be able to say to every other security ship in the system, don't interdict Commander blah-de-blah, he's clean. No, they can't do that. So you are being interdicted constantly in a system where, according to their records and yours, you are doing nothing wrong. And I was trying to scan this system because it was one that was unexplored, and there were a few valuable planets, including one that I suspect is a water world. It looked a bit like an Earth-like, but I've seen plenty of planets that look like Earth-likes and they turn out to be water worlds. But nevertheless, it still would have been quite valuable. But after being interdicted for the 15th time, no exaggeration, again I was making a note of them, 15, I just thought fuck this, and I pissed off to the next system. Now thankfully it didn't happen again until I was completing the third of the 3 missions. Already done the first 2, got paid for them, no problem. Now of course the third mission, it's a pain in the arse because again I was being interdicted constantly, and but of course this time the system was not an anarchy system. So they had reason to interdict me because they were, well, apparently they knew I was carrying dodgy gear and they needed to scan it to prove it. So of course they would interdict me. As soon as I submitted, I would then boost away until I was able to frame shift, and off I went. There I was interdicted 9 times, and of course, okay, you do have to put up with it, but at some point the fun turns to tedium. And when you're interdicted 9 times in a journey of about, I think it was 1100 light seconds, yeah, the fun goes out the window long before the 9th, and the tedium sets in. In the end, I got to the outpost. It was a scientific outpost that I was having to land at. And one of the security ships followed me. He scanned me, so I boosted in, very nearly ploughing into the outpost actually. I got away with it, but only just. So he followed me again, this time scanned me. I was already positioning myself on the landing pad, so I was like, oh fuck it, there's nothing I can do, give me the fine. And he fined me, and after all that, it was a fine of 6,100. That's less than 1/100th of what I was being paid to do the mission. And I just thought, all that fucking about for that. Now I don't know if once you've been scanned and once you've been fined, that means they'll piss off and leave you alone, or does it mean that if they scan you, fine you, then the next ship comes along and scans you, you will be fined again? I don't know if that's the case, but if it is the case where they scan you once, you get the fine and that's it, then do yourself a favour, just submit to the first one that comes along, take the pissant fine that you're going to get, because the amount you'll be making from this mission will more than pay for it, vastly more. I say I made 25 million from doing just 3, that's after I deduct all of the fines and the repairs that I had to pay out and everything else. So it could have been a little bit more, not a whole hell of a lot more. So, as well as that, you'll notice that my trade rank has gone up as a result. I haven't actually done any trade, all I did were these missions, so they are contributing towards your trade rank, and it helped mine to no end. It took me ages to get to 10%, and now suddenly I'm up to 14. So I got 4% for doing 3 missions. And at Tycoon rank, 4%, you'd have to be doing a hell of a lot. I think I've worked it out that you need to be doing something in the region of 7 million profit per percentage point. So yeah, that definitely helps. And my Explorer rank has gone up as well, up to 35. That's purely because of where I was going and where I had to go. It's not as a result of doing any of these missions. So that's gone up as well. Now you can see from my trading profit hasn't gone up, because I'm doing bulletin board missions, so it's not recorded here, and yet it is contributing towards the trade rank. I don't know how long that's going to be the case, if it's intentional or not, but that's one argument for continuing to do this and putting up with all the interdictions. Here's the current state of exploration. So systems visited is now at 2,847. Price from exploration is out at 31.2 million. Level 3 detail scans is at a fairly round 5,550. Highest payouts not changed. Hyperspace distance I've now done 92,109. 6,564 hyperspace jumps, and of course I'm nowhere near improving the max distance from the start. So I mean, it's when you see those stats, you see how much it adds to your trade rank, and of course how much your balance goes up. You think, yeah, these missions are well worth doing. But yeah, like I say, be prepared for a huge number of interdictions, most of which revolve around you doing absolutely nothing. So yeah, it gets very tedious very quickly. But I still have some more to hand in. It's not very often that I'm, nowhere near an Imperial system, so can't hand in a bounty, but 98,280 bounty to hand into the Empire, and at the moment I can't do anything with it. But there you go, that's how this has worked out then. So effectively, although I've upgraded this ASP a decent amount, I have still improved my balance by over 15 million after fitting all of these new upgrades to what is almost certainly the finished ASP. I can't see me changing it anymore. So I now need to decide if I want to go back and do some more of those missions, or if I'll go back to grinding. What a choice. I can't wait. Anyway, that is definitely all of it. So this is Commander Lucosa saying fucking go away.